What's up, people? This your boy CL Cool, and I just want to get something off my chest right quick. Well, it probably won't be as quick as you think, but it's gonna be quick. So, last week, WWE announced that WrestleMania 43 will be taking place in Saudi Arabia, and just like many of you, I was kind of not upset, but disappointed by this news because you always knew that they were going to try to bring a WrestleMania over there. You didn't think it would be that quick, but you kind of knew it when we started hearing the rumors of WrestleMania. You kind of knew that okay, they're going to bring a WrestleMania over here at some point. You didn't know when, but you knew they was going to bring it. So that kind of sucks. But I see a lot of people online. Blaming like Triple H, blaming TKO, blaming everybody but who they need to be blaming. And one thing I'm tired of hearing is, oh, if Vince McMahon would have had the company, still had the company, none of this would be happening. If Vince McMahon was still here, ticket prices wouldn't be up. If Vince McMahon wasn't here, they wouldn't be doing business with the Saudi Arabians. And it seems like everybody's forgetting that Vince McMahon was the one who did business with the Saudis. He's the one that started their relationship. As a matter of fact, at their press conference, the minister, the dude who's over the Saudi Arabia stuff, he said, this arrangement with WWE and the Saudis started with Vince McMahon. So I don't know what everybody's talking about. Like WWE, they have been promoting events in Saudi Arabia since 2014. 2014. TKO or Endeavor bought WWE in 2023. So we're talking a good 9 years before TKO even bought the company that WWE was already in bed with Saudi Arabia. Remember the greatest Royal Rumble? That was under Vince McMahon. So Vince was already doing business with the Saudis. WWE announced a 10-year partnership with the Ministry of Sport in 2018. Vince was still there. They announced a 10-year partnership then. Vince was there in 2018. In 2019, Vince was there. WWE announced it expanded its partnership through 2027. Again, Vince is there. So all this would have happened under Vince. Under the deal, WWE held 2 large events a year. And then Roddy season as an entertainment festival would launch in October 2019. So with this new season that the Saudi Arabia entertainment people are already having, WWE was under that. They were under that partnership along with boxing like Canelo and Crawford. They was under that. So the Saudis already been buying up, or they already been flexing and influencing money over a lot of events, sporting events in the U.S. and other countries. So this thing that Vince wouldn't have did it, or Vince wouldn't have brought WrestleMania, yeah, he would have. And it just seems like everybody's giving him a pass when he's the one that created this. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit more how he created this. So when Janelle Grant came up with these allegations at first, it was around June of 2022. When she came up with these allegations, and Vince was it was spreading around TV that there was this allegation. She hadn't put a lawsuit in yet, but the allegations was going to the shareholders and the board, and Vince was going on TV talking about I'll always be here forever and all this. WWE, we're a family. The board and Nick Khan convinced him to retire in July 2022. So he retired. He went on Twitter and said he retired, right? So he had left, Triple H came in, and all was good. And then you remember, I want to say a couple of months after that, Vince came in like a thief in the night. Him and Nick Khan came in, they fired 2 presidents, and Vince came in with the intent to sell. So Vince was retired. He came in the middle of the night while everybody was asleep to unretire He fired a lot of people, brought Nick Khan in, bought some of his people he wanted in, and he got ready to sell the company to TKO. The company that y'all hate right now, Endeavor, TKO, he did that. He came in with Nick Khan to intent to sell the company. And he did that because he knew, number one, this lawsuit was about to get serious, and he knew she was going to file that lawsuit at any point. And he knew when that lawsuit came, the board of directors and the shareholders were going to boo him out of his own company. There was nothing he could do about it. So what he did, he thought he was slick. He went and sold the company to Endeavor and gave them a 51-49 split. Endeavor got the 51%. The shareholders in WWE and Vince and them got the 49%. And he convinced his friend Ari Emanuel to put him in the CEO spot so he could run the company. So if anything did happen to him, he would go, but his homeboy, his friend Ari, would have the company. So he thought he was slick, and he thought he was going to do this for a couple of years. And I think he was going to buy the company back when all this blew over, and then he was just going to run WWE as his own again. I think that was his game plan. But it backfired because in 2024, I think, was it 2024? In 2024, 2 days after the Netflix deal was announced, she filed the lawsuit, and it was right before the Royal Rumble. They filed a lawsuit. They had the Royal Rumble, and then Ari Emanuel and Mark Shapiro convinced Vince to leave, and Vince was gone for good. So now you're dealing with Endeavor TKO, who's money hungry. If you've been following TKO Endeavor like I have with the UFC deal, when they bought UFC, they came in and fired a lot of people. They fired a lot of people, and they went up on ticket prices on UFC. They started going more overseas with UFC. They bumped the ticket prices up with UFC. Endeavor and TKO Endeavor been doing this. This is their game plan. They buy a company. They just bought the bull riding company, and they're about to jack them prices up, and they jack UFC prices. So when they bought WWE, a lot of people already knew, okay, Endeavor, TKO about to fire a lot of people in WWE, and they're about to jack up the prices, and they're about to, kind of treat it as a corporate entity instead of a family business that McMahon treated. McMahon did treat it as a family business, but at the end, he knew he was in trouble. He tried to sell the company. He sold the company. It's his fault. Stop blaming the Saudis. Stop blaming TKO. TKO is their property now. They can do with it whatever they want. I don't have to like it, but they can do it with their company as they please. It's their company. They bought it. Vince sold it to him. Triple H didn't sell it to him. Bruce Prichard didn't sell it to him. The WWE officers didn't sell it to him. Vince sold it to him because he knew that lawsuit was coming, and his homeboy was going to give him that position as CEO, and he can keep his job and run the company that he thought he was going to run until it blew over, and it didn't blow over, and then they convinced him he needed to leave, and it backfired. So stop blaming the Saudis. The Saudis just doing their job. Hey, they're doing their job. They want programming. They're going to get the programming. So stop blaming them. Stop blaming Triple H. Stop blaming everybody. Stop blaming Nick Khan. It's Vince's fault. Vince did this. The ticket prices you don't like, Vince sold to TKO and Endeavor. You don't like the Saudis, Vince had that deal with them first. You don't, whatever you think, whatever. But Vince McMahon is the reason why. And y'all need to start remembering that. Vince is not innocent in all of this. His hands are not wiped clean in all of this. This is all Vince. All Vince. He did this. So, that's all I got to say about that. I got that off my chest. Start blaming Vince. Don't blame TKO. Yeah, it sucks that TKO is upping ticket prices. Like we're all celebrities and we're not. It sucks. But they've been doing this with UFC, with the Bull Rod, and now this. So, blame Vince for that. Stop blaming Triple H. He don't have any control. He a puppet. He's not even the boss. He answers to Nick Khan, and Nick Khan answers to TKO. All Triple H do is write TV and just be the face of the company that the fans love. That's all he does. He don't do nothing else. Stop blaming him. He don't make the ticket prices. All right. It's like always. Your boy CL Cool, man, representing the Yellow Rocket Boys Network, and I'm out. And I appreciate the love. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.